Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell. It's business as usual. Monkey business, that is.
They hooked the monkey up to electrodes and gave him a button so he could push and give himself an orgasm once every 3 minutes.
You're kidding.
No. And I guess the monkey gave himself an orgasm once every 3 minutes for 18 hours straight.
And what was the result? I mean, did the monkey live?
Yeah, he did. The monkey lived. He fell asleep, and then he woke up
and started pushing the button again.
And started all over.
So in other words, in the right kind of a society, we could put buttons on all of our women. They get out of line, you just...
You're treading on dangerous ground.
Orgasmic therapy.
Yeah.
Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell.
If you're afraid, turn off your radio. If you can't take the heat, then don't stand, because you're going to go to hell.
Honey draws more flies.
Huh? Don't call me honey. I ain't your honey. How dare you? I knew that you were something wrong with you.
You know what I'm going to say to you is that you're preaching condemnation when the...
I don't believe in condom use either. Handing out
condemnation.
The worst thing that ever come. That's giving the okay to fornicate at will.
Do you really believe that people will burn in hellfire and brimstone and all that? You believe all that?
I'll tell you, there's a very special place for your listeners, Art, and it's vats and huge pits of boiling sewage.
God bless you for letting this man talk. It's been the funniest show I've ever heard. I swear to God.
You won't be laughing when you are thrown into the boiling pit of sewage.
Listen to Coast AM with Art Bell every weeknight on this station.
No!
Art Bell reminds you, be careful what you call those household spooks.
This night, we do only ghost stories.
When I first moved in here, my wife started having dreams about an old woman. She goes, I see this old lady coming down the hallway. And my friends would come over, they'd say, hey, Ed, what's going on with the ghost? One time, my friend Benny had asked me that, and I said, oh, nothing lately. The old hag hasn't been around, just joking. Instantly, my daughter had a clear acrylic grand piano music box. This thing started going like full tilt, playing the music. I picked it up and I could see it because it was clear. You could see the mechanism. The coil spring was wound up and the key was just turning, around pretty fast. And I put it down, and that shook me up really well.
Yeah, that would do it for me too. One word of caution. For an entity in your house, I would think calling it the old hag might not be your best option.
Yeah, I think that kind of stopped after that.
Sometimes on dark, moonless nights, coast-to-coast listeners are treated to the Art Bell Amateur Hour.
I write parodies, take today's music or, great hits, and I change the words, kind of like Weird Al Yankovic.
Yep.
This is the Day Tripper song from the Beatles. She was a day tripper. Remember that one?
Yep.
What she say, tripper, a one-way taper, yeah. It took Star so long to find out what he found out. I don't know if you think it has any potential.
Well, not much.
No.
I don't sing, and you shouldn't either.
So if you've written a really good song, call the Coast to Coast Amateur Hour and sing it on the air. Art would just love to hear from you.
I appreciate your call, sir, and don't ever sing.
Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell. Come on in. Join the party.
I'm going to sound like I'm right off the wall with this.
Well, then you'll be right at home here, so go ahead.
I think cats meditate.
I am the Antichrist.
I know you then.
Yeah. I've been accused of being the head servant of Satan. I've also been called a modern-day prophet of God.
Do you think cats meditate?
How the hell would I know?
I've also been accused of being a nut and just completely off my rocker.
I represent the Galactic Federation, and they put on a show tonight in the sky, just to enhance this call.
You think so?
You lift me up. You stretch my mind in every direction. I tell everybody in the world about you.
Thank you very much, but stop already. Enough.
Art Bell gets calls from men, women, the old, the young, the bright, the not so bright, the aspiring topless, Yes, the topless.
I'd have to write big, long editorial things just to get my point across, what I can get across by tone of voice.
You know that computers now have internet phone. You can see the person that you're talking to.
Yeah, I tried to be your first topless caller, but I couldn't find anybody who had that thing.
Overnight with Art Bell on Coast to Coast AM.
Ah, technology and the internet.
Sometimes Art Bell gives his long-haul trucker fans the honor of closing out his show.
All right, let me hear your horn.
One time.
Holy mackerel. All right, thank you.
Well, good night, America. From one trucker to the rest of you, keep on trucking.
All night long with Art Bell and Coast to Coast AM.
That was excellent.
Bizarre stories are the order of the day on Art Bell's Coast to Coast AM. This caller says his elderly sister is being visited by extraterrestrials.
It started one night about 2 months ago. She got in bed and something grabbed her by the foot.
I hate these kinds of stories.
Yeah. She pulled her foot back and they grabbed her foot again and stuck a needle in it.
I really hate those stories.
Yeah. And they pulled the covers back and sprayed the back of her head and stuck a needle in her head.
Then she ran to get her brother to help.
He thought she was imagining it, so he went and laid on her bed. And they sat on his feet.
They sat on his feet.
Yeah. So he kicked them off. But they don't seem to bother him as much. She's kind of gotten used to them now. They put a probe up her nose. But they've gotten to where they'll sleep on the bed with her.
Join Art Bell all night, overnight on Coast to Coast AM.
If that was me, I would be wanting...
AM.
If that was